It's me again. This is the Dover Public Library podcast, and I'm here today with Vicki and with Joyce, and we are going to talk about the bookseller. And I have a few questions to ask them. Again, if you have any questions, just leave a comment in the box down below. I'd like to know, how did the bookseller get started? Whose idea was this?
I do believe that it was one of our members, Virginia Cassidy, who about a little over 20 years ago went to the current director, who was Dan Cooley at that time, and she had lived in Arizona and had worked for the University of Arizona Library.
Oh, I
And
didn't know that.
yes, and she had observed out there that the public library had a Friends of the Library. So she started with that. She proposed that they start a Friends of the Library here.
Mhm.
And from there, she eventually came up with the idea of using it as a sort of a fundraiser for things that were not covered by the budget, just little odds and ends and things that made life a little easier and nicer for the director and the staff. So Dan agreed to let her start, and she did. And eventually she did uh, begin the bookseller, which at that time I don't think it was called the bookseller. It was just the little shop, in the
Mhm.
basement in a cubbyhole.
Right, it was over there. I can remember that.
It was the
About
back of the corner closet,
15
which I
years
think
ago,
had
yes.
been a sort of a catch-all closet. So then she got a friend of the another friend of the board, not the board, but the Friends of the Library. They had started that, and that had become successful. And she and a man named Bob Libertor, who was a literature teacher out at Kent State. He and she started up this little used sale type of store in the little closet, and they were open every third, first and third Saturday of the
Mhm.
month, just for 3 hours each, from 3 to 9, each first and third Saturday. And they made a little bit of extra money, I think $20 or $30 for the month at that time, and they thought that was pretty nice. And so it continued, and then eventually a lady named Esther Clark, who was also by then a member of the Friends of the Library board, she got involved in helping them, and I think they started trying maybe a few opening a few other times. Well, then eventually Bob Libertor left the board and he stepped down, and Esther asked me to join, and that was at least 15 years ago.
I can remember volunteering in that little room over there.
I know
Yes,
you did. Yes,
before I started actually
yes, you
working here.
did.
Mhm.
And so that continued. I continued to work with Esther for the next 4 or 5 years. And we started opening up, I think, every Saturday. We thought that the business seemed to be growing and it was getting out there word of mouth. And we thought, well, let's just try it. And so we did. We started adding a few hours. And then eventually, after about 5 years of my being there, Esther stepped aside. And at that time, Vicki had just retired from her teaching job and she joined the Friends of the Library. And I thought, oh, I know just who to ask.
All right.
I did, and that's history.
Ah, now, um, you were all like volunteers. Now, how many volunteers do you have that are on the schedule for working?
Currently, we have 15
Oh,
that
okay.
are active. We have a couple we have one on medical leave and one on family leave, if we can have family leave. But an event took place in the family and she needs to help with her granddaughter. And one of our other volunteers just had open heart surgery, so she's out for a while. So we're down a
Mhm.
few on that, but we have 15 that are very consistent.
And if someone wanted to volunteer to work in here, they would see you too,
Yes.
and you would sign them up? Okay.
Yes.
Now, I have a question. Where do you get your books? Because you always have shelves and shelves of books. And what I like is if I'm looking for an author, I can ask you to, and you say, "Oh yeah, we have one," and you help me out that way.
Well,
But where
we
do you get
do.
them?
Our books are all donated, not necessarily just by the Friends of the Library, but from within the whole community. People will come to us and say, my mom just died, grandma just died, and we've got a whole attic full of books. Can you people use them? And we explain to them that they have to be in nice quality. They can't be musty or smelly, but
Mhm.
otherwise, we
Yeah.
accept.
On the other podcast, I told them that I have actually shopped in here for Christmas and birthday gifts
Oh,
because the
absolutely.
books are so nice. Now, when someone brings in some books, you just don't put them right on the shelf. Do you
No.
inspect them, or what's the?
No. Books are sorted before we even get started on cleaning. Books are pretty well sorted out because there are books that we know simply will not move here. And there are books that are in really bad condition. And those books, the books in bad condition, get tossed, as much as you hate to say that. They get tossed
Mhm.
because they're not usable any longer. And so that's what happens to those. Books that are sort of our either we have quadruplicates of the same book and we don't have space to store them. So those books get boxed up and they go one of three places. They are either donated, if it's a Dover library book that has been donated to us, we do not sell those. So those are always boxed up and they are kept for the library book sale in August,
Mhm.
which is usually the second or third week of August. And so they're kept for that sale. And then there are books that we know they can take at Hospice Browse and Buy. So we take books to Hospice Browse and Buy that we know they will take, and we take books to Goodwill because they have a new store up in North Canton. They have an actual bookstore now, and so they take books that we just have too many of them for space, or we have quadruplicates or what have you. And now we've got a new one, the Mission Thrift, I think it's
Oh
called.
yes, Mission Thrift in Dover.
It's in Dover on Commercial, and they have also, I talked to the manager there, and they took a load last month that I took down, so.
And also, we have the little free library beside the library here at the Dover.
On 6th Street.
Yes.
Mhm.
And our library, Linda, who's an employee of the staff here at Dover Library, is her actual place now is over at the senior center, and she has started up a beautiful library over there. And she just came in Wednesday, I think it
Wednesday.
was,
Mhm.
and we had set aside a box for her. She said that this is funny. The ladies over at the senior center really are partial to Harlequin romances. They don't lose those very well.
Mhm.
They were brand new little paperback books. So we had a whole box set aside for her. So we stopped, we helped them also.
And in the senior center, they like westerns too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Now, do you help stock the Little Free Library over at the park, at Dover Park?
I have taken those couple.
That's the one that Libby Murphy
Libby
Murphy does because it's right almost in her backyard.
Oh, okay.
And so she kind of takes care of that one.
walks, and she's into fitness, and she's also on the Friends of the Library board.
Now,
So
when you have books donated, you just don't want them brought down here, right? They upstairs, right off of the community
Two
room, there's a
things.
table.
If we're open, they
Mhm.
bring them down here.
Okay.
If we're not open, there's a table in the back community room, that hallway between the community room and the basement, across from the restrooms, and there's a table. You can just put your boxes on the table.
And when are you guys open?
we're open on Wednesday mornings and Saturday mornings, 9 to 12.
Mhm.
And occasionally, special occasions, special events here at the library. Most recently, the Celtic Rush, the very popular Irish program. That's on a Sunday afternoon, and we open a half hour before and a half hour after. Then it gets people who ordinarily aren't around in the area. The band is from up in anywhere from Kent to Akron. They're from up north of here, and they come down and shop and are raging. They look forward to it.
Now, when the money is collected for the Friends of the Library, what goes to it? What do you do with your money?
Take it to Denny Traver. Denny is the treasurer for Friends of the Library. So Denny Traver gets the money usually on a Monday, because I do the week and I put down and take it down to Denny. And then that money is allocated for the library. Everything we make goes back to the library.
And you help
it's-
pay for programs like Celtic
Mhm.
Fresh.
Mhm. That children's programs, we just provided the books for the kindergarten registration
Oh,
that Jen had written a request that she needed X amount of dollars for the books for that. And so it's really easy
mhm.
because we have grown to the point, last year we made just under $12,000 gross,
Yeah.
and it was just under $11,000 net. So we have money between this place and dues,
Mhm.
membership dues. We have enough money that we don't have to say no when you have a need upstairs.
And
Yeah.
I
Whether
think
it's
at this
equipment or
Yeah.
a coffee pot, we just bought the
Correct.
coffee pot, and we gave him enough money that he can buy the coffee for the next year, the pods that he needs,
Mhm.
and that is available for the clients here to use.
I'm going to reach over here and grab this real quick. This is a Friends of the Library form. So if someone wants to join, they can fill out this form. We have them at the front desk. You have them down here. And it says down here that there's ages 12 to 18, $5 for a bookworm. Author, that's an adult individual, 10. Book lovers, that's for a whole family, is 25. And then classics, that's for business organizations, $50. And they can just fill this out. Now, this is online too, and it's on our newsletter every month. Yeah, so people can find these and to join the Friends of the Library.
And if you are a member of the Friends of the Library, one of the perks of that membership is you get 10% off down here all the time. You have to just that you're a member will ask the question,
Oh, yes.
are you a member? And if they say, I don't remember, which sometimes happens, I don't remember, we have a list of all the memberships, so we can check it out that way. Or if they have the card, they show us the card and then they get 10% off.
Right. And you also offer perks like for the 100 Book Club. You do that, you get a gift certificate to come in and spend. And one other thing that I really love about the bookseller is you have sales all the time. There's something different. Right now, what is your sale going on?
Paperback.
All right.
So all paperbacks that you see, we have them all on tables all the over the back here.
Yeah.
They are 10 cents a piece, so or 10 for $1. You can get a lot of paperbacks for $5.
Yes, you
It's like
can.
50 of them for $5. It's a
And
good deal.
one reason why I like a paperback is like if I'm traveling and I'm on an airplane or something and I finish the book, I put it in the slot in front of me, that little pouch. Somebody else can take it. And,
Exactly.
yeah.
Or if you're in a motel, you can leave it in the room, or you can. There are various places you can drop them.
I just like to add that as you're looking at this book, it is brand new. I don't think it's been read. Spine's not cracked. Many of our books are in this condition. So
That's why I like to shop here.
that's why you can use them as gifts.
That's right. Yes. And with Easter coming up and you have a reader in your family, your mom, a grandma, or even the dad or teenager, because we have a whole teenager section behind us. You can get books to put in the Easter basket along with,
Also,
candy.
we do give gift certificates. If you don't know your favorite person's reading habits, what they like, you can come in, you can buy a gift certificate in any amount.
That's right. Good.
And we also have a reward card. So once you spend $5, you get a punch, and then when your card is full after $5, you get $3 off your next purchase.
You girls really got game down here. I'm telling you.
I like to score too. I got a lot of kids and a lot of family, and I buy books. Everybody gets books. So Wednesday, she helped check me out yesterday. I paid for Saturday. I paid for my entire month's. I stack them up, and I said, "Okay, it's time for me to pay." Well, I got my 15% off March special. 15% your entire purchase. I had my friend's discount to take off of that amount, and then I had a punch card, a reward card filled out. So my nearly $20 purchase became $10.
So you can stack it. So we really do have one of the best bargains in town.
In addition to books only being costing from anywhere from 10 cents to $3 for the most part.
Right.
So
And did you have to take a big cart to get it all out of your
People have gone out with bags of books. We have in November, we run a bag sale. It's a 1 day, 1 Saturday deal, and it's $5 for the bag. We provide the bag. You fill it. We've had people go out with 4 and 5 bags of books.
for $20.
Yeah, and not only is it books, you also have music CDs, DVDs, all kinds of specialty books like things on the Civil War, different things like that, history.
I don't think there are many genres we do not have.
People who like to travel or are maybe visually impaired.
Mhm.
We have audiobooks, and they're the top favorite authors.
Yeah.
John Grisham, James Patterson.
What book are you reading now?
I'm just finishing up The Frozen River by R.A.L. Lawton. And we are reading that. Vicki and I are in the same book club,
Mhm.
and we are reading that for this month.
And that's based on a true story.
It's a novel, but it is based on a true story, and it's wonderful.
What
It
did
was
you?
my favorite book last year.
Was it
It was,
really?
yeah, it was my favorite book of the year last year. I was just like, and I read it early. The other one, my second, because I always have more than one favorite book. My second one was The Life We Bury.
Yes.
Eskin.
Alan
That
Eskins.
was fabulous.
I know.
That was the first 5. One of
Yep.
our clients that comes down here, Delia Blickenstofer,
Oh, yes.
comes down here quite often, and she had went, oh my gosh, it's a 5, you've got to read the book. So I did. And I really liked it.
Do you have a copy in here? I'd
We
buy it.
rarely get him in. He's
Oh.
not one we see often.
Yeah, that was a good story. The
but it
love that
was-
he showed between
I
their
ended
brother.
up reading the
Oh,
whole series.
yeah, me too.
I did too.
Yeah, he's very good.
Denise, I'd like to do a little plug for what you do here. I'm not sure what the title is actually here, but you do help us when we have trouble for our book clubs, and you do this for other book clubs as well. She will contact other book libraries in the community, and they do an interlibrary loan.
Mhm.
So right now she's gathering up horse
Yes.
for our next
Sheridan Brooks.
month selection,
Mhm.
and hopefully she'll have more success with that than she did the Frozen River, which has been the bestseller and at the top of the
Yes.
list. And
And Kristen Hanna's The Women. Oh, I can't
yeah.
get copies of that either.
I read that, and I'm finishing up the Frozen River. Both excellent choices for this year's reading.
We have in this library 12 book clubs that request books in. And I am going to do a podcast once with Delia. We can talk about book clubs and all that.
Oh, that'll be good.
All right, is there anything else you want to add before we say goodbye?
Anytime. It's a treasure hunt. You never know quite what you're going to find. And you really are part of a very important trifecta.
Yes.
And
Because
we
we
would-
have
excuse me.
we have the people who donate. We wouldn't be here if people didn't donate. We have people who buy. That's how we make our money. And we have people who volunteer because somebody has to sort the books, clean the books, shelve the books, be here to help you out. So it's like a trifecta, and everything goes back to the center, which is the library. And you
Perfect.
can't go wrong.
That's right. Perfect.
I would just like to say one more thing in addition. If you are watching this and you have not been here, You will be blown away by the charm. I think we would say. People walk down, and I like to say we have some people that you might not think would ever show up in a library. They just don't. We judge by books by their cover. Come on, let's all admit it.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Uh, and you look at a certain person and you say, "Oh, I don't think I'd like to meet him in a dark alley." And he'll come in and he'll say, "Oh, I love what you girls do here. You always have it decorated so nicely."
We do.
So, and a lot of that's Vicky's influence.
A
So,
lot of one of my favorite ones that comes up is people, young adults or people in their 30s and 40s who went to high school at Dover and who used the library as a high school student and haven't been here in years. And they'll walk down and they'll go, "Well, this isn't the creepy library stacks that we used to go in to
That's
see
right.
when it was really dark and there were just shelves of books and it wasn't
Mhm.
well lit or anything else." And they're just amazed. They keep going, this the library that we used to
Yeah,
know.
we've had people walk in and go, they walk out like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, it's really changed since I was a kid.
well, after 15 years, or at least 15 years of my being here, we still, at least once every time we're open here, "Well, how long have you people been here? How long has this been here? Why did I not know this?"
That's right. That's right.
So
You
you're
can
in
find us
for
on
a pleasant
Facebook.
surprise is
Mhm.
all I'm trying to
Right.
say.
And you can find us, we post on Facebook. We have a bookseller bookshop Facebook page, and we always post the monthly specials and in between what's coming in. If we get new things that we think you might really be interested in, we post that too. So
All right. Well, thank you very much, Joyce and Vicki, for sharing about the bookseller and the Friends of the Library. And like I said, if you got any questions, put a comment down below and we will answer it. Thank you. Bye-bye.